and welcome to yet another live stream here today. Alright, this is going to be a good one, fellas. We've got quite the roster of things planned here today. It is going to be, it's going to be something special, I'll tell you that much. Let me just get us all set up here. I'm going to test my audio after I do something real quick. Let me just... Okay. Texting WX Analyst. If he wants to get in the chat, since he missed last stream, so don't want to miss this one, especially because we've got quite the amount of stuff to get through today. Here, let me... Oh, that's weird. My thing isn't working yet. Audio isn't online. I do believe I did the thing. Yep, I did the thing. Alright, I guess we're just waiting. It's a little delayed for some reason. Should I enter and come back, or... Oh, there we go. Let me test my audio. Okay. I'm gonna lower my volume in game a little bit. Alright, game capture. There we go. Alright, what's up, Dodge? What's up, Yukari? Good to see you, fellas. I'm trying to argue with Stupid. Who's Stupid? Dodge? Can you guys hear me fine? Just asking. Game capture. I'm trying to make sure we're good. Oh, what's up, Austin Bear? Me and Yukari were arguing with our number one op bro. Who's that? What are we dealing with here? Alright, here's what we're gonna do. Before because I wanted to do the wave mode today. Just like I did at the end of last stream. I'm going to go to training grounds first, since I want to test out some of the weapons. We're just going to chill out a little bit and talk, if that's alright. We can hear you fine. I just put him on ignore at this point. Who are you talking about? Okay, let's, I guess we'll just do SCP, MTF. Alright, let's go with the shotgun. Yeah. Alright, and then... We'll do 1911. Pipe. Okay, I got grenades. And then I'll do riot. There we go. Alright, cool. Alright, tell me if the game's too quiet or something. I can always adjust it. This game always seems to be like it's too loud or it's too quiet. I don't understand it. Here, let me increase the game volume a little bit, because it's kind of quiet. There you go. Alright, what are we saying? The Indonesian kid, like I told you about? I thought you said that was a grown man and that he was some kind of freak show. So you thought I was kidding when I first brought him up, but he's real? This is not a joke? Yeah, he's so annoying and just not okay sometimes. What do you mean? Okay, let me test the audio. Okay, dang, it's quiet. Alright. Well, it's quiet for me. Is the game quiet for you? I just put my volume on like 70, so I don't... You guys tell me if it's too quiet or too loud, or if it's good, because I can't hear that much in my game, but me increasing my volume doesn't make it easier for you to hear it. No, he's not a kid. He's a kid enjoyer is what Yukari said. Okay, you called him a kid, so I assume that's what you meant. Because I remember you saying last time that he was a weirdo, and then this time he said kid, and I was like, okay, well, I guess maybe you were just... Maybe you were telling me incorrectly the first time, or maybe you were just making fun of him, or maybe I remembered wrong, but I guess not. Alright, sure, let me listen on the stream. Because I remember you saying last time. Okay, my voice is nice and loud. Let me hear the gunshot. Why don't we just get him out of the server? Oh, he's on a Discord server? That sounds about right. Okay, the volume sounds fine. Here, I'm going to increase the volume just a tiny bit more for you guys. And then we're going to get started. There we go. I'd say that's good. Yeah. I can always adjust it. Alright, cool. Let's get started. We did, but non-described female friend won't remove him from the other group. You guys are going to have to give me full context. You can't just be coming in here talking about random stuff and expecting me to understand what you mean. Okay, let's, I guess, get to where are we even supposed to stand from? You know, shooting ranges usually have, like, a place you stand in and shoot from. They usually don't just, like, put dummies and things out and expect you to know where you're supposed to hit them from, right? Alright, so I guess I'm shooting from here. Okay, no scope or anything. That's great. Everybody runs iron sights for some reason. We're the highest tech foundations and organizations in the world, and you're telling me that we can't afford freaking scopes on guns. Like, almost every American with a gun can afford a scope at least. It's ridiculous. There's got to be a workbench somewhere. Oh, here we go. Oh, wait. Oh, we can spawn stuff. That's awesome. I didn't realize we could do that. What is this? Oh, we got some special weapons. Okay, we can't grab the armor, though. That's lame. Dang. Okay, yeah, we have some serious options here. There we go. Much better. Oh, what's up, Pedro? It's good to see. Did you change your profile picture? Jesus, I swear your profile changes every day. Yukari, start the rant. Alright, Yukari rants first, then me, then I'm gonna tell you guys what we're doing today. Alright. So, I guess I'll just let Yukari tell a story while I get myself prepared. Alright. Let's see. Do you guys want music? Let's get music in here. Because it's a little quiet. Besides me talking. Nope, that's too loud. I'd say that's good. Yeah, that's not too loud, I don't think. Alright, cool. Compensator. Alright, cool. So we got some actual stuff on our guns this time. So we're not just shooting nonsense. That's good. By the way, I'm going to have to remember to lower my volume later, because we're going to be watching YouTube. By the way, I just want to say that that poll that I set up that only 2 people saw, I'm pretty sure one of the people that voted was WX, even though he's not here yet. That poll, it was decided on because it was 50-50. So I decided we're going to, after this, we're going to play some SCP 5K, right? So we're going to do this for like 20 or 30 minutes. And then we're going to go on YouTube and we're going to watch some stuff on the Twitch drama. Which Twitch drama, you may ask? Good question. Whatever the most recent one is, we're watching that. Okay, I've already got 2 things set up for us to watch. We're not going to be able to get through one of them completely because it's like an hour and 30 minutes long, which, by the way, this is going to be a shorter stream. So not like my we might we might get to 2 hours. Okay, which 2 hours is usually the length I like to go to. I have streams that are shorter, right? But overall, that's the length we might get to at most. Anyways, what is this? Did my message send? Nope. Not that I saw. Okay, alright, I need to retype it. It's different wording because YouTube. Just know, it's not me censoring anything or anything I have. It just does that on its own. I think the only thing that my thing auto-censors is, like, heavily sexual language or, like, the N-word. Actually, maybe. I don't know about the N-word. I'm almost positive it limits super sexual language, though. That's the only one I'm almost positive that it does. The other one, I'm not sure if I disabled it or not. Because, you know, I don't really care. But, you can say whatever you want, right? Freedom of speech, not freedom of consequence. Well, you know, I'm not your principal, I guess, or your mother, so, I don't know. Do what you want. But, let's see. Also, I'm not going to stay long. I have a soccer game tomorrow, is what Asher said. Well, it's good that you tuned in anyways, Asher. I appreciate you being here, right? I mean, you don't have to sit here and watch us talk the whole time. We can you can do what you need to do, right? I mean, I technically gotta wake up early tomorrow as well, but you know how it is. I don't sleep, and sleep is for the weak, right? So I just sit here exhausted, get progressively more tired over the course of the day. I'm still waiting for Yukari to finish this. I know it deleted his message. I'm waiting for him to finish his whole rant, right? Because, like, obviously, I got my own thing I want to get to, which, by the way, just so you guys know, I did record the Telovru rant yesterday. However, the rant, it had a lot of stuttering and a lot of me not really knowing fully what to say, so I might re-record it. Now, I have all the background stuff for... Okay, scratch that. I don't have the background gameplay. I do, however... Can I turn the flashlight off? I don't remember how to turn the flashlight off. I'm pressing F. I don't think it's F in this game. Okay, I'll just take it off my gun. Anyways, yeah, I don't have the background gameplay, but I do have some, like, memes and stuff that are gonna play at the beginning of the video. So, there's that at least. But I don't have the proper stuff. Okay, what are we talking about here? We know... Okay, where does this start? If that one didn't send, I'm doing it in caveman language. Alright. We know Asian man, he do bad thing, we ban him, he cry, we have him in other server. If we ban, he target me and friend, and we don't want him to do that, and we can't do much about it, so we kind of screwed. Did that one send? Yes, it sent. Why is he targeting you? And also, what did you ban him for? This is Discord we're talking about, right? So this could be anything from, like, mass murder to, you know, he kicked his cat or something. Some may say he shocked his dog, right? No, that's not the thing we're covering today, just so you guys know, right? I think I mean, my opinion on that is pretty much as simple as, like, don't keep your dog in one place the entire day. That's pretty much it. That's, you know, I don't really care all that much. It's not my problem. It's not, you know, it's not my place. It's just, it is what it is. Instead, I was going to look at some of the more recent stuff. Also, by the way, we're not looking at the okay, I'm gonna mention it a few times, but we're not looking at the Emeru stuff today, or at all, because, well, first of all, it's uncomfortable to talk about. Second of all, it's not really my thing to talk about. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. Everybody and their cat's talking about it, including people with no place to talk about it. But, I don't really think I should, because, I mean, I watched all the stuff on it, right? But, I don't know. I mean, I feel like all the stuff to be said about it's already there, right? Other than the fact that everyone and their cat condemns it, for obvious reasons, then that's pretty much all there is to it, you know? It's not like I can do anything myself about it beyond just make crack jokes or whatever. Let's see. Because he's, okay, this is Yukari talking about the Asian Indonesian dude that's, I guess, in his Discord server or something. Because he's a stalker and we banned him for being a kid enjoyer, being anti-Semitic for zero reason, and just being a person who can't take responsibility for anything. So how did you even get into contact with this guy? Now, I've told you this before, guys, and I'm going to say it again. I'm a major recluse, so everyone that I know, which is very few people, well, okay, I know a lot of people. They don't know me. I don't interact with a lot of people is what I mean, right? So, like, I know a ton of people's names, I see them every day, right? But they don't know me, I don't know them on a personal level, right? So I interact with very, very few people. And the people I do interact with, I pretty much know basically everything important that there is to know about them, under the idea that at any given moment somebody can betray you literally any time, right? So I run off of contingencies, and my contingency is that everyone is your enemy. So expect absolutely everybody to stab you in the back. So the people that I do know, I have heavy trust in. Either that or I don't have trust in them, and I make it very obvious that I don't trust them. So I don't really run into scenarios like this because I don't put myself in them to begin with. And I also don't interact with people online with a degree of trust that's, you know, like extremely unfiltered. Like, I talk to you guys, but first of all, you're here a lot. And number two, and most importantly, you may notice I leave out a lot of information, right? Not that I don't trust you guys, but, like, you know how it is. So, you know, yeah, I mean, look at what you're dealing with here, right? Let's see, I met him in real life over a Roblox game. Yeah, that ought to do it. Yeah, that ought to do it, Yukari. That pretty much just summarized the entirety of... Yeah, heck, you could have just said Roblox in one word and I would have understood immediately what you meant. Let's see. One of the worst decisions I could have made, and then I brought him to my friend group, and now we're screwed. Let me guess. He has borderline personality disorder, okay? Don't worry, I've seen one of those too. Let's see. Well, I met him, and we became semi-friends over Roblox. We met first in person and then evolved and devolved from there. Okay, so, correct me if this doesn't sound correct, okay? This doesn't sound accurate to him. Is he constantly afraid of being abandoned? Does he feel like you're always betraying him or plotting against him? Okay, what else is there? Does he have a fear of abandonment? Alright. Does he flip his emotions seemingly on a dime, right? So significant mood swings. What else are we looking at here? I mean, you already confirmed the thing with, like, the scheming and plotting, right? I mean, that's the classic Amber Heard kind of move, alright? So, you've confirmed that. What else is there? Let's add some other things. Lack of empathy, I think that's kind of... that's pretty much confirmed in a lot of degrees with what you've said so far. So we're like... What is it? We're like 2 and 23 right now? We gotta stack them up. Let's bump those numbers up, okay? Do any of these qualities sound accurate? That sounds like him? Yeah. Now, do you guys want to know how I know why that's what it sounds like? Or what this entails? It's because I've seen it first person. I've seen it firsthand, right? I mean, this stuff, it's obvious. You can tell when a person has this problem, especially when you've known them for longer, because people struggle to hide things after you spent a decent amount of time with them, right? Especially if it's emotional in nature, right? Now, you see, people like psychopaths, they can go years, and you don't realize anything is weird about them, anything is off, right? Because, I mean, let's be honest. In reference point to people with ASPD, most of the time they don't really act weird, necessarily. The only weird, quote-unquote, thing about them is that they're incapable of feeling empathy, right? Which doesn't always mean they're a bad person. However, I mean, given the context in which it's diagnosed, right? So, like, outside of Reddit, then, yeah, it's almost always used in a criminal context, right? That's why people still use the terms psychopath and sociopath, despite the fact that neither of them are official diagnosis anymore, right? And so, anyways, with this kind of thing, with something like borderline personality disorder, it's much, much more obvious to tell when somebody has it than something like psychopathy, because they are emotionally immature, and so they end up basically showing all of their negative emotions impulsively, and they can't help it. So, you know, and considering the fact that I don't even know the guy and I'm able to point out exactly what he's like, pretty much tells you that I know what we're looking at here. Okay, it's not surprising. I think I've said this before to you guys, and I'll say it again. Humans are incredibly predictable, okay? Unbelievably predictable. And so, obviously, why are there guys with guns? I clicked on zombie. Okay, I don't know why there are guys with guns. I didn't click on that. They're shooting at each other, though, I think. Are they shooting at me and they're shooting behind walls? How good's the AI? Sorry, guys, I didn't expect to get in a firefight. I expected to be the one shooting. Where's this guy even at? There you go. That's a spirit. Oh, yeah. I'm getting him. Let's get it. Can I go through here? I can't. Ow. What's down here? Huh. Okay. Yeah, all of that sounds about right. He literally had Dodge be an elected leader of our friend group and then crashed out on him for acting independently despite begging us to make him the leader. So, he's Jack in Lord of the Flies. Is that what you're telling me? Why is there just a random thing? What is this? I don't understand why that's even there. Okay, well, I'm gonna die. Okay, I kind of thought this would be a med kit or something, but I was wrong. I don't even remember how I switched sites. Oh, there we go. Oh. I'm glad I checked my mag. I'm not asking for the cars, but change it. This song is great, stop hating. It's different music, it's all jazz. Yeah, we had Dodge be elected because Indonesian man thought Austin was a dictator and then blamed Austin for manipulating Dodge despite acting by himself. I'm sorry, is this the UN or a Discord server? Actually, this is a Discord. What am I kidding? This guy, we know who we're talking about, or what kind of guy we're talking about here, right? He probably thinks it is the UN. It's whatever. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, outplayed. Yeah, you guys are going through that, so that sucks. Are these guys respawning or what?
They're still here.
Oh, there he is. Cool. That guy's dead. Did you guys see how I finessed that? I'm surprised we're even still alive, honestly. Watch me die in my classic stupid way where I say something and then jinx myself like I do every other time. Okay, I don't think they respawn. I think we're good. Alright, nice. Well, dang. That was good. I was surprised we made it. I'm honestly surprised we made it. Okay. Where's the healing items? Or where are the healing items? Not where is. No, those are grenades. There should be healing items. Oh, there we go. Cool. I feel better now. I'm gonna take a bunch of drugs. There you go. Cool. Everyone do drugs. I'm just kidding. Don't ban me. Okay. What's this? I believe the ban was reasonable. Well, obviously. This is literally just Gran Turismo 7 background music. Dude, I don't know. I just played whatever was the first thing I could find. This isn't the main core of what we're doing today. Let's see. We all do dodge. Is that Jihad Joe? To summarize Indonesian man easily, he's a Russia supporter. Gotcha. I mean, I don't think being a Russia supporter within itself defines the kind of extent we're looking at here. I mean, we're looking at, like... We're pretty much looking at, like, the stereotypical Discord mod, right? That's what we're looking at here. So, I don't think that even begins to describe the kind of freak show we're looking at here, right? Like, a Russia supporter could just be some Chinese military operative, you know? It's like, okay, you know, that guy's, he's highly intelligent, you know, he's serving a country, he just happens to be against, you know, some particular agenda or other country, right? But this guy's a different breed, right? I wouldn't loop them into even the same category. Discordian, who plays Roblox. Discordian's a new one. I've never heard of that. Okay. Did I just accidentally call in D-class? I hope not. I literally pressed zombies and I got D-class. Are they actually zombies this time? No, they're not. Okay. Oh, they are zombies and they spawn D-class with them. That's weird. Wait a minute. Oh, wait, these guys are on my side. Okay, ignore the fact that I just butchered like 7 of my own teammates. Just forget it happened. I'm sorry. It wasn't my fault. I didn't know. I mean, when you're the SCP Foundation literally committing omnicide on the planet, then you don't exactly always think to... Wait, no, they're D-class. Wait, it doesn't matter if I kill them. Never mind. Who am I kill... Wait, no, they're enemy! So, they turned on me, guys. I was right. I should have been killing them. Yeah. He thought the Israelis were the cause of 9/11 without the first one, is what he said. He said without the first one to specify he meant 9/11 instead of 1911. I just didn't read it as 1911 because I knew what he meant. I don't think they were the cause, but... okay, ow. But, I mean, if you want my opinion, it was definitely... Did I have this discussion with you guys that it was a blatant inside job? I don't remember if it was you guys or someone else. Well, I mean, of course, there was also someone else at some point, I'm sure, but I'm not sure if I had this. Come on. Just shot him how many times? Anyways, I'm not gonna go into vivid detail. Pedro said womp womp everyman. Pedro over here is clowning on me. Alright, anyways, what was I even talking about before? Right, so now that your rant's over, that sucks, man. I hope you get that figured out. I would give you advice of how to deal with this. However, my method of dealing with things is pretty much tell everybody to kiss your rear, do whatever it is you want to do. Nobody else's recommendation, every other person's word of, hey, you should come do this, it is a suggestion or a recommendation. It is not a command. Nobody commands you. The only people who command you are your parents if you're below 18, okay, or if you're living under their roof, or the government, or the police, or the military, or a guy who's holding you at gunpoint. Those are the people that... What the... Okay. Those are the people that hold power over you, right? That's who you should take the word to heart of. Okay, everyone else, it's a freaking suggestion. Alright? So that's kind of my mentality of it. That's pretty much how you deal with that. In terms of getting rid of him, good luck with that. If you've met him in real life, that means he's within close proximity to you, which means he can always do something, you know, out of what is normal, okay? So you can follow the Adam model of always keep weapons on you, assume everybody is planning to kill you at all times, and prepare yourself for whatever combat is necessary, okay? Look over your shoulder all the time, be prepared for anybody to do something, okay? Assess your surroundings, know when to leave, look at the exits, and possibly hold some sort of weapon for self-defense on you, depending on where you're at, right? So if you're at school, don't do that. That would be stupid. However, if you're going somewhere like, you know, if you end up in an alleyway like it's freaking East St. Louis or something, right? Like, have a knife with you, all right? And make sure you're following the law. However, you know, keep your own safety in mind. Also, Yukari, you do martial arts, so you're probably even more secure than I would be. So, you know, I'm not so afraid for your safety, but I'm just saying, keep that in mind. So, well, okay, I don't know if Dodge and Austin do the same thing, so actually, you know, things might be a little bit different. Let's see. Yeah, Pedro, but every man didn't see it. Hang on, what are we talking about? When I say Russia supporter, I don't mean like a soldier. I mean like someone who has the Russia flag on Twitter. I mean, I don't... That doesn't seem so horrible unless it's the Soviet Union flag, really. Okay, let's see. You said something similar to that already, Yukari. I'm back now is what Dodge said. Yeah, Pedro, but every man didn't see it. Oh, okay, Yukari. And hello again, Dodge. Yeah, welcome back. Alright. I'm gonna go on my little rant now that we've resolved that issue. Well, okay, not resolved. In my perspective, I resolved it because, you know, it's not like I'm gonna be able to do anything about it. What is the SCP-610 Golem? I don't want to be dealing with 610 right now, man. Yeah, we're not doing that. What is this? 098? I don't remember what 098 was. Are those hound things? Oh my god, it's so much worse. It's so much worse than I could have ever imagined. What is the... Dude, this P90 sucks. It's not even fully auto. I think it's dead. Is it dead? Let me just make sure. Yup. Alright, it's dead. They say double tap in Zombieland. I say quadruple tap. Ensure that literally everything is as dead as it can get. I just stuttered big time, but we'll ignore it. Alright, what was it you guys said? I'm pretty accurate shot. I'm most likely smarter than him. If I needed to defend myself. Well, let me think. How do I word this? Intellect is important for defense, or not defense. Intellect is important for offense, or it is important in combat. So combat, of course, intellect is important if you were in the military, for example, or if you were a police officer. However, for a regular civilian, intellect usually only matters when it's on offense. It does not matter for defense, because let me paint you a picture. If I were to go into an alleyway in, let's say, Detroit, okay, I would probably get stabbed to death. Now, I could outsmart probably, I'd say a good 98% of the people who live in Detroit, okay, but they'd still kill me. You wanna know why? Because he has a knife and I don't. He's on drugs and I'm not. It's that simple, right? So, intellect can't save you in physical combat unless you're thinking ahead of him, which obviously you're not planning to attack him, so you wouldn't be doing that, right? So you really have to use, I think one of the things that's important that I use is, I don't want to make this sound corny, but like use charisma, okay? You talk your way out of everything. And so if you can talk your way out of everything, then you don't have to ever enter a confrontation with people. Now, sometimes confrontations are inevitable, in which case you need to be ready to fight at a moment's notice. And I don't mean fight as in fist fight. I mean, I've said this before. Every fight is a fight to the death, okay? Fist fights, I mean, you can get killed in a fist fight, right? One guy punching you as hard as he can kill you very quickly, okay? So, just remember, you never engage in a fight. If you are absolutely forced to, for whatever reason, you do not make it fair, right? And so, anyways, I'm saying this because, you know, if you guys need to defend yourself from some, you know, crazed Indonesian dude or whatever, then there you go. Assume everybody is at their absolute worst and that everybody will do the worst thing imaginable and prepare for it. If they don't do it, that's fantastic. However, if they do it, you're prepared for it. Anyways, let's see. Everyman, do you own a firearm? I'm not going to answer that. Have I shot a firearm? No. But I won't answer whether I own one or can. Okay, I'm legally allowed to own one, obviously, but whether I'm allowed to, like, shoot one out, you know, like hunting, things like that. So I'll keep that to myself, but shot Nerf guns. I'll say that. I do, one thing. In my room, I do keep a numerous amount a numerous supply of self-defense tools. I'll say that. Okay, so if there's ever somebody that, like, breaks into my house or something, then I'm at least ready for that. I've said this before, I'm pretty paranoid, so I kind of assume everybody is going to do the worst thing imaginable, and then I go from there, right? You know, the other day there was these guys, and they came to do something with the carpet. However, you know what I heard? I woke up and heard some guys speaking another language. I don't know what language it was. It was not Spanish, I'll tell you that. It wasn't Spanish. It definitely wasn't English. It wasn't French. And it wasn't, like, German or anything. So I don't know what language it was, but it wasn't one of those. I can tell you that. It wasn't Japanese either. Yeah. So it limits those. Just, those are out of the picture. So I didn't recognize the language. So I heard it, and then my first instinct is I hear 3 grown men in my house that are speaking another language. I immediately assume something's wrong. So anyways, I was ready at a moment's notice. But it was fine. It was just some guys with the carpet, and I wasn't told ahead of time because I guess telling me things isn't on the list of priorities, I guess, even though I live here. I don't know. But anyways, that was something that happened. Let's see. Apocalypse prepped. Also, Indonesian man does the same martial art that I do, and while we were friends, I got him signed up to the same dojo, so I literally can't get away from him. So, Yukari, I don't mean to ask this as, like, a leading question, but were you at any point sexually intertwined with this man? Okay, because I ain't never heard of 2 men that just randomly met each other, and they got dragged into all the exact same stuff. Actually, better question, because I know how you're going to answer it. Does he see it that way? Let me put it that way. Does he see it like that and you don't? That's a better question. How big in size and what kind of self-defense tools do you have? Pedro, end of discussion, alright? Or end of that part of the discussion. Spotlight's back on Yukari. And how would I hypothetically get into your room from the outside? You wouldn't. That's the answer. You wouldn't. I don't actually think you can. But, whatever. I mean, it's not like that would be important. Let's see. SCP. You know what? I'm just gonna spawn the golem. I'll do it. How many does it spawn at the same time? Oh my god, it's horrible. What have I done? I forgot the golem was an enormous monster. You know what I think is pretty funny? The fact that I don't get infected, despite the fact that I'm being covered in SCP-610, which infects you basically instantly upon entering contact with it. Oh my god, oh my god. Grenade out. Do these things lose aggro at any point? What the heck is that? Knew one of them was still alive. You guys, I bet you guys thought I was just being dramatic by shooting them over and over again, huh? Nope. Yep. See, I know what I'm doing. I know these things. Let's see. Do you have a knife? And so, where is it hidden? To answer the first one, yes. To answer the second one, are you freaking... Do you actually expect me to answer that? Alright. So, now that that's over for, like, the 17th time, what is it? You're a very fun guy to talk to. Are you talking to me, or are you talking to one of them? You know what? The answer is the same way either way. Thanks, Dodge. I appreciate that. I think it's very fun to talk to all of you guys. I just want to say that. Honestly, you're probably some of the most fun people to talk to in general. Just because you guys have a lot to say, you're very good at creating conversation, and obviously you guys play off the situations that are created on stream pretty well. So, just wanted to say that. I majorly appreciate you guys. You guys are the reason that I continue forward with absolute confidence in my abilities, which is the fact that, I mean, I have people here waiting for me, people that want to watch me stream, you know. You'll hear me brag you guys up a lot, but, I mean, that's why, right? Because I find that a lot of the time you get YouTubers, and, I mean, it's especially the case with huge communities, they take things for granted too much, and they don't give a lot of appreciation to, you know, the people that they have. And even if they do, it just, there's too many people that it feels, you know, it feels, what's the word for it? I'm not really sure. It feels like a business practice, I'll put it that way. Let's see. Thanks, Dodge and Everyman. No problem, is what Dodge said. Well, I mean, I guess I can say that too, but... Alright, zombies. Let me add those back. Oh, it's just zombies this time? Okay, I don't know why I couldn't get that the other freaking times, or did I click D class this time, and it gave me just the zombies? Are the two buttons switched? I mean, this game is early access, so that's possible. You know, I was gonna do the wave mode, but I think I'm just gonna do this. This is way more fun, because I get to use whatever weapon I want, and also I like the map more, and I can spawn whatever enemies I want, and it's not limited, so I think I'll just stick to this. I'm having a lot of fun with this. Tell me once we get to like 35 minutes on the stream, and then I want to switch gears, because even though I want to keep talking to you guys about random stuff, we also have something we want to get to tonight. Let's see. To do this in caveman speak, to answer Everyman again, because YouTube is being YouTube. Gonna go to sleep now. Good night. See you, Austin Bear. Thanks for tuning in, man. See you next stream. Oh! Okay, that actually kind of startled me. Alright, I'm gonna switch guns. Give me this. I'm gonna need that. Run that. I'll keep this. Like a suppressor on an LMG is gonna do anything. Yeah, right. I don't really want the hybrid scope. I think I'm fine just like this. Alright, so, while Yukari explains his thing, I'm going to finally get to the point of what I was trying to say earlier. So, I don't want to go on, especially because I'm pretty tired right now. Oh wait, hang on, let me read this real quick. Me fight Indonesian man in dojo, but he bad, so he ran away because me like a break nose against ribs. When get good position, summarized, he bad at jiu-jitsu. Okay, so like, he can say he's in the martial arts, but he's probably about as good as it as me, right? Or good at it as me is what I meant to phrase that as. You know, because I'm not in that. I would want to do a martial art one day, though. I think I would do I'd do jiu-jitsu, or I'd do taekwondo. It's probably one of the two I'd do. I would not do karate. I personally think karate's as useless as it gets, but that's just my opinion. You know, it's like if you're in a legitimate fight, you're not doing chops and sweeps and disarming moves, right? You're shooting a guy or you're stabbing him. That's a real fight. That's self-defense in America. The enemy is never going to be walking up to you saying, "What's up, bro?" and trying to punch you, right? I mean, I guess unless you're at a freaking bar or a nightclub, neither of which I would go to. So, you know, that kind of... What the... Okay, enemies just magically appeared. I don't know what happened. I don't think I clicked the button. Okay, I just got insta-killed. If you do a martial art, do jiu-jitsu, because most street fight, if you go to the ground in a situation, it allows you to do a lot of nasty things of chance you don't have a weapon. Oh, in the off chance you don't have a weapon. Sorry, I didn't see the first part. I thought it was just grammatically incorrect. Let's see. This got unhinged very quickly. I mean, not really. This is kind of the average conversation we have here, right? We've had worse, right? I still remember some of the lines you guys have used at some points. They get bad. Alright, anyways, I'm going to talk about Televeru a little bit, guys. So, I'm not going to go totally off the rails like I plan to, just because, you know, I don't really have the energy to go completely hog wild with it. But I will try to give you at least a little bit of energy in this regard. So, I finished Televeru, and as if you guys saw, I had some pretty angry posts about it. In fact, I had the most angry posts I've ever had about anything before after finishing an anime. So what happened, you might ask? Well, I went through basically 4 seasons of a show, plus, let me do the math here. So there were, how many OVAs were there? I think there were 6 the first time. I think there was 6 the other time. And then there were 4 the last time. So that means that there were about, let's see here, 12, 6, okay, so there were 16 OVAs, if I remember correctly. So 16 OVAs, that's 16 episodes. So we're talking about almost over 5 seasons worth of screen time I sat through. And, hang on, let me read this. Also, to answer your first question, I do not like him in the manner to quote Clinton. I did not have relations with that quote-unquote, with that brackets man. Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. That's why I rephrased my question, because, I mean, I mostly asked it for comedic purposes, but I think the other angle that I had with it is also a point of discussion, right? Because, you know, I mean, anyways, I'm going to continue talking about Televeru. We're getting... I forgot there were people here, okay. I'm getting sidetracked. Anyways, so I watched the equivalent of 5+ seasons worth of content. And do you guys want to know what the end of the show was? The end of the anime. Which, by the way, everything from High Anime to Crunchyroll says the show's finished. Guess what, guys? The show isn't finished. In fact, it's the manga is still ongoing. For context, the anime ended in 2017. And that's the OVAs. The final season ended in 2015. Okay, just to give you an idea. Season 1 was like 2009. That's the anime. The manga came out before the anime because, you know, because that's how it works. So you guys can probably do the math in your heads, right? That's how long it's been. This man writing Televeru is like a yandere dev. This man, he doesn't get anything out in time. I don't even know how to express my disappointment, okay? I watched 5+ seasons worth of content, the equivalent of 5+ seasons, right? I actually watched 4 seasons, and then 2 sets of OVAs, plus 4 episodes more of OVAs. At the end of the show, there were OVAs. The OVAs were the end of the show, which is within itself is nefarious. Okay. So, after all of that, do you guys want to know how it ends? Take a fat guess. Take a guess. You're never going to get it. Of all the things I've said about Rito Yuki, of all the things I've said about Televeru, you are never going to guess how this show just abruptly ends. It's unbelievable. It was so insane that I just had to sit. I mean, I had a minor meltdown after it was finished. At this point, I've kind of reached... I've gone through the 5 stages of grief, and I've reached the acceptance stage, where I'm kind of just like... I just accept that that's how it is, and it's over. And on the bright side, I can start a new anime now. That's pretty much where I've gotten to at this point. They're not shooting me. Are they friendly or are they not? They seem friendly. Okay. I guess they're friendly. Let me spawn some other stuff. This, hang on, what's it? The show takes place in the Cold War in an alternate reality where Kennedy was never elected. The missile crisis causes the world to be blown up. Okay, well, obviously you're joking, but no. No, Yukari, that's not the end of Talavru, right? I'm not sure how much of it you've seen from what I've talked about on the channel, but I've talked about it more than pretty much any other person on YouTube. I'm almost positive. So, with that in mind, is Pedro still here? By the way, WX never showed up, even though he literally asked me to stream tonight. He said, hey man, can you stream tonight? I was like, yeah man, I'm streaming. That's what we're doing. He said, alright, cool. Well, actually, he words it like, alright, bet, but, you know what I mean. Anyways, so that's what was said, and then the result was that he didn't get on. So, I don't know what he's doing, but, yeah. Let's see, I haven't watched a single rant or episode, if I'm being honest. Well, the other videos I did weren't rants; they were just reviews, me talking about it. And then I made the U.S. President's one, where they're talking about it. So you could probably watch that one. You'd think it's fun. The video's called "Talavru's Insane," and it has Obama on the thumbnail. I think you'd like that one. It's 12 minutes long, yeah. Okay, Pedro's still here. Alright, no. So you guys want to know how the show ends? With not Yukar. I said Yukar. Sorry, I have your name stuck in my head now because I've been talking to you this whole time. It ends with Rito Yuki sneezing. It ends with him sneezing. In what context? There is none. He sneezes. And it's over. So, the final episode of the show is 12 minutes long, which is obviously shorter than usual. The final episode is Rito replicating. Okay, he multiplies due to this invention Lala makes, and it makes him multiply over and over again. He does weird stuff, okay, because it's Talavru, right? So there's lots of nudity, lots of obscene sexual stuff. Just so you guys know, I'm completely desensitized to anything sexual after Talavru. I mean, literally anything is just not a problem. How does this cause this show to end? Good question. I don't know. 4 seasons. 4 godly seasons. Okay, godly, not used in the context of every single season being fantastic, right? 4 seasons of this. You guys remember that? I know as a fact you do remember that poll I made, though, which was essentially, it was the 4 tiers. The top tier was a peak ending to a peak show. The second tier was finally I'm at peace. The third tier was it was okay, but Rito sucks. And the last tier was I fought through hell for that. I'm the bottom option. I've been stroking this show. I've been talking everything good about this show. I've been literally giving it more attention than anybody. And I got to the last episode, and he sneezes. WX, you did show up late, but we're not even close to being finished, so it's actually okay. I'm fine with you showing up late. I'm glad you're here, man. I'm ranting about the end of Talavru. Do you want to know how it ends? All that progress. You remember how I made a 50-minute review, like last week or a week or so ago? WX analyst on To Love Ru Season 2 and Part 1 of Season 3. Then I had a review before that was like 45 minutes long. Then I had that President's video where they're talking about To Love Ru Season 2. Then I have the shorts of me talking about it. Then I reference it multiple times. I even talked to you about it in person and brought it up. You know how I did all that stuff? You want to know how the show ends, WX? Take a guess. How does the show end? How does 4+ seasons of content end? Yukari said, I just got the greatest news I've gotten since Trump won. First of all, I'm sure that's not true. Second of all, what news? Well, WX guesses. We'll hear what Yukari has to say. I'm glad these guys are cool with me. I thought they would kill me, but I think the D class kill you just because they have no side that they're on. But wow, that is a lot of zombies. Just ends with nothing happening. Well, I mean, you're not too far off. So the last episode of the entire show ends with Rito sneezing. That's it. 4 seasons. 4 seasons of waiting for romance to build up. 4 seasons of waiting for characters to develop. 4 seasons of making content on YouTube about it, talking about the show, just giving it the grossest, nastiest glaze ever, okay? And you know how I'm repaid? By a show that turns out to be incomplete despite everything saying it's completed. Not only is it incomplete, boys, it doesn't even begin to end. We're at a point that you could argue isn't even halfway through the plot. This isn't even like Rent a Girlfriend where the objective is like within grasp, but he just never makes it. This is a whole new level. This is on the level of nothing has progressed and literally nothing has happened. Rito is the biggest coward in anime history. I'm going to make a whole rant about it. I actually made a rant. I recorded a whole 40-something minute rant yesterday. However, I think I'm going to delete it and try it again because yesterday I stuttered a lot and I was a lot more emotionally insensible. So, yeah, I'm going to have to redo that video, record it over again, and then that's what I'm going to have, and it's going to be a rant instead of a review. Let's see, how does it end with him sneezing? Like, does it just cut off in the sneeze? It literally, he sneezes, and then it's just the credits. Not even kidding you. Like, it's pretending like there's going to be an episode after it, and then you go ahead and fast forward 8 years, and there's no follow-up episode. The betrayal was unbelievable. By the way, if there was one thing... let me find it real quick. Let me find the sound effect for you guys. If there was one thing... hang on, why isn't it here? One sec, fellas. To be honest, Everyman, it's your fault. It's my fault that the writer decided to have 0 plot progression, and then every single website on the internet told me the show was finished, and that it ended off with a satisfactory... in fact, if you look up a summary on Google, and it pops up, I think it's IMDb, it tells you that it ends off with like him, Lala, and Harna, which is still not a satisfactory ending, but it's better than nothing. That doesn't even happen. It doesn't happen at all. Can you believe that? You see, you wanted to watch the show to begin? I guess. Also, see the greatest news ever? Scroll up a little bit to my last message. What? Oh, the next Girls and Panzer film is released in 2 months. Okay, I saw that. Yeah, I don't know about you, but that doesn't seem as critically important as... Actually, I'm not going to say that. To you, that's very important, so to you, that's like, you know... For me, that's the equivalent of seeing, I don't know, I guess the last season of Stranger Things coming out. Anyways, if there had to be one clip to summarize Rito Yuki and my thoughts on him this season, it would be this. Hey, man, I ain't gonna
Hey! Shut your bitch ass up!
I'm not sure if you guys were able to hear that, but that pretty much summarized my thoughts on him this season. Right there. Also, I bowled a 198 during bowling tryouts today, everyman. Dang, good job, WX. Let's see. So what I'm seeing with this, the writers kept the story flat the entire time, and it ends with a sneeze because they were the lazier than South Park with Trump jokes. Well, okay, couple things to break down with that. First of all, that's not how the story actually ends. That's how the anime ends. So they're assuming it's just going to lead into another season, and it didn't, because nobody in their right mind is ever going to greenlight 5 seasons of a show that goes nowhere. Right? Which, it was fun. It was fun. But you gotta do something. You have to do something. Anything. Literally anything. We're begging for any droplet of content. Okay? And they blew it. They had it all and they blew it. Okay? What a bad time. Then the second thing, with the South Park jokes with Trump, they do that with everything. They didn't just do that with Trump. They did it with Trump because they wanted to bait him into suing them, right? Because then it would ruin the dynamic between Trump and I think it was Paramount Plus, right? So it was a big screw you to Paramount was what it was. So yeah, I mean, the jokes with it aren't exactly the most creative, but they're meant to be stupid. So that's kind of my breakdown of that. Let's see. Very nice, WX. What about the SYFM sound? That's what I meant with the anime, not the story. Oh. Excuse me. Alright. So, anyways, so I'm doing an entire video ranting about To Love Rude, the final season, and all that. That's going to be interesting. That was... I don't even know what to say. My disappointment was immeasurable, and my day was ruined. It was horrible. I mean, to go through all that, only to get one big middle finger, and your only comfort, your only advancement in the story, is Rule 34. Not or DeviantArt. I'm not even kidding you. That's your only advancement in the story. Is that? That's the only hope you'll ever get of anything else. I'm not reading the manga. You've got me messed up. I can't even read the manga of shows I think are better. Okay? I didn't even read Kaguya-sama's manga. That's my favorite anime. And I didn't read it. The most I've read of any manga is Science Fell in Loves, and I still haven't continued that. I still need to. So, there you go. Let's see. Can we talk about Twitch drama yet? Yeah, that's what we're getting to right now, actually. So, guys, what, everyman? Oh, you're talking about the joke I made with Rule 34. I thought you meant something I said with getting to the Twitch drama. I was like, isn't that what you wanted? No, we're going to get to... Okay, so we're switching gears now, fellas. Let me back out of the game real quick. That was fun, though. I actually had a lot of fun playing SCP 5K. We have to do that again. We had more fun than usual with that. So, we're switching gears here, boys. Also, by the way, guys, I figured something out. You get copyright on the stream by having thumbnails in the image, like in display on the screen. I didn't know that. However, I figured that out with the last stream because it said copyright, and I was like, the heck you mean copyright, right? I didn't play any music or have anything in that video that could possibly be that. Then I watched it back, and I realized at one point you see, like, an Ella King, album cover on the right, and you see the cover of, like, an Asmongold video, and you see some other stuff, so that explains the copyright. Okay, now it's not a copyright strike, it just says copyright because it detects something that's not mine. Okay, so I figured that out. Anyways, let's see. Anything that isn't the mouse or the Doom Turtle, my correction. What? I don't know, Yukari, maybe Brawl or Blitzwing. Let's see. Aw, man. Yo, you should look at the Hurricane, dang everyman, hitting Jamaica. I said World War II tank, Pedro. Okay, you guys are talking about random stuff. Okay, we're switching gears, fellas. So, I have my little jazz music pulled up here. That's not what we're looking at. What we're looking at today, fellas, is some Twitch drama. Now, we're not going to be able to get through all this today. In fact, we're probably only going to be able to get through like 30 minutes of this. But I'm going to try to go through my thoughts, tell you guys what I think. We're going to make some jokes, and we're going to have a fun time. Okay, now, before we begin, hang on, what's this? I mean, if you think hard enough, Yukari. Okay, you guys are talking. So, before we get started, I want to give full credit to Asmongold and some of the Twitch streamers that are covering this. Mostly Asmongold, because he's the one we're going to be watch this stuff. Because he sits back and he watches all the stuff, and then I get to see what he's seeing, and then that's how I keep updated with all the Twitch drama and stuff like that. So I get to see all the internet crap from him. Most people either see it from some sort of Twitch streamer, or they see it from Charlie, right, or Penguin Zero. That's usually how they get their teacup of drama, okay? Rarely, occasionally, if it's major enough, they get it from Jacksepticeye, okay, which is also a very reliable source to get your stuff. I mean, yeah, I think Jack's probably... He's one of the most reliable sources for information if something's going wrong. What is this? Also, Everyman, if you didn't see my message, I asked which World War II tank to run in the Girls on Panzer game since I'm playing it. Is there a Tiger 1? I'd pick the Tiger 1. You've got style. It's overly expensive and way too slow, but you've got style. Let's see. This is a Girls Girls on Panzer game. You're replying to Pedro, who said something about Transformers. Yeah, that sounds about right. Anyways, we're going to be talking about Twitch drama, so I want to give full credit to Asmongold, who's covering this stuff. So he looks over it, and I get to watch it with, popcorn in my mouth, and I get to tell it to you guys. And I want to see what you guys think about this. So focus up. No Girls on Panzer, no Uma Musume, no hurricanes. Okay, sorry WX, I know that's your specialty, but I mean that's what your channel's for, is to cover this that sort of thing. In the meantime, we're going to cover some Twitch drama. So let me give you a little rundown of what's going on. So basically, there are three things going on actually. There's Hassan shocking his dog. There's that situation. That's pretty much as simple as he shocked his dog and then keeps denying it, and then everybody either picks one side or the other, or you have like Ludwig, who kind of sits on the fence between the two and then gets eaten alive by both sides because he keeps talking when he shouldn't, and he gets crapped on by everyone. I mean, I don't know. He's just farming content. It's okay, it's fine. It is what it is. But there's that scenario. Then there's the Mizkif and Emaru scenario, which is going on, which is I think that's a little bit too much intensity for me to cover, right? I like to cover stuff that I think's funny. Well, okay, besides the Internet ID thing, but the Internet ID, I wanted to voice my opinion on that. So, I mean, it's also not that intense to talk about. It's pretty straightforward, right? Anyways, this is the third scenario. Third scenario, long story short, is basically QT Cinderella, one of the most popular streamers right now. Okay. One of the most? Is she one of the most? She is a popular streamer on Twitch, right? Also Ludwig's girlfriend, just for some context, some background. So Jesus, I just burned my eyes out of my skull by, God, my brightness on the lowest setting, too. Anyways, basically, she said something about how even if her family says something or thinks something that she disagrees with, she doesn't necessarily have to hate them for it. Now, does that sound normal to you or what? Because it sounds normal to me, right? That's kind of the point. And so anyways, a bunch of people, the usual jockeys online on Twitter, on Blue Sky that place is a nightmare. I don't even want to talk about that. And then Valkyrie, which I didn't expect some weird input from Valkyrie, but we're going to watch the clip. You know what? We're going to watch the short clip first to give you guys some context. All right? Once again, full credit to Asmongold one more time before we get started here. I'd subscribe to his channel. He's got some good stuff. If you don't want to, that's fine, but just give him... Here, let me give him a like. Alright. Am I subscribed to him? I'm not subscribed to his Clips channel. I'm subscribed to his main channel, I think. Okay. Let me read this. His name is Jellywig. Oh, Jellywig, because his opinions are about as tough as Jello when Hassan tells him something otherwise. By the way, hang on. Let me show you guys the meme that I thought was so funny. What was it? It was Ludwig on a leash meme. Where is it? Dang it, I can't find it. Hang on, what is it? Hassan holding Ludwig on a leash meme. I can't find the meme, man. Okay, basically it was an edit of GTA 5, and Franklin and his dog? So it was Hassan as Franklin holding the dog was the image. It was really funny. I can't find it, though. Let's see. What paint scheme do I run for the Tiger? I can't do camouflage, but I can change the paint. I don't know, man. Do a woodland scheme. Let's see. Are you subscribed to Tectone and Nexanor? I watch Nex, but I'm not subscribed. Tectone, I don't watch or nor am I subscribed to him. I hear he's fine. I don't do anything with him. Anyways, I clicked on the wrong thing. Anyways, we're gonna watch this for context. Everybody, get your cheeks ready. We're diving in deep with this one. That sounded wrong. It's whatever.
And anyway, Valkyrie told Cutie part of the reason why she's receiving backlash is because she's being so white.
Context. One of the most popular and most progressive streamers is getting cancelled for saying this.
In my family that are racist, there are people in my family that are bigoted, but I still love my family. And what's most important to get people to love other people is to love them.
She's right.
Fighting hate with hate will never get anything anywhere.
So, real quick, I just want to say, you guys should know this by now. Anytime the everyman reacts to something, I don't sit in the corner and eat, a popsicle while letting everyone else talk. I like to break it down and give my thoughts on it, okay? So let me give my thoughts on that little quick statement. Even if it's a tiny little clip of a video, I want to give my full commentary over it because that's why you're watching me and not watching them, right? Now, if you want to watch them, that's fine too, right? You can get the full context and et cetera, et cetera. But if you're watching me, you're getting my thoughts on it, right? That's why we're doing this. And then I want to hear you guys' thoughts on it as well. So anyways, that statement right there, you can't fight hate with hate. What do you guys think of that statement? Because in the context she's talking about, she is right. In a general context, do you think that's true? I'm still not sure how to think of it, because it sounds nice on paper, right? However, I am of the belief that nothing people say is ever what they do. And so somebody can say something, but it's not what they mean all the time. Now, in her case, once again, it's what she means. In this context, she's correct. But in a general context, do you guys believe that hate does not beat hate? And in what ways does it apply, right? What ways does that statement apply? Because, for example, racism can't be combated by more racism on the opposite end of the spectrum. But you also don't want it to be one-sided, because let me go into this a little bit. And this, just so you guys know, this relates to this clip that we're about to witness right here, okay, from Valkyrie. What I wanted to say is basically the idea that one side should not have a monopoly on some sort of prejudice, right? So, like, for example, I should not be able to say something that's considered hate speech to somebody who's black, just like I shouldn't be able to say it to somebody who's in Yukari's case from Indonesia, right? I'm messing with you because obviously you had a specific example. I'm making jokes, right? But it's also the same thing as I can't say something extremely derogatory and racist to somebody who's white, okay? Even if I'm white, even if whoever else is white, you shouldn't do that, right? It's still racism. There's no dynamic to it. There's no buts to it, okay? It's not Barney the dinosaur. There's no but this, right? Or, oh, well, it's acceptable in this case. It's the same thing, okay? It's like shooting somebody and killing them versus stabbing somebody and killing them versus killing them with a rock, okay? Killing them with the rock is not any more special than the other two just because it's somehow, I guess it's different? Like, come on. It's the same. You killed someone. It's the same thing, right? It's a distraction method. What are we saying in chat? Let's see. Literally any argument fighting with hate can be answered looking at Germany in the 30s and 40s. You might have to be a little more specific. In a way, it's true, but the world just refuses to accept it. Well, if the world refuses to accept it, then it isn't true, right? And I think this goes into another thing that I want to, just so you guys know, I like to talk deep here, okay? So we're going deep, not in a weird way, pause, okay? That statement you said, truth and fact are not the same. I want to emphasize that. And if you ever take a philosophy class, they'll tell you that, right? Truth and fact are not the same thing. Truth is what people believe. Fact is what is the case, okay? And it gets kind of blurry of what defines what because fact changes as well. But some things are facts, right? So, for example, the Earth is round, okay? It is spherical. That's a fact. It's not flat. Everyone knows that. Or everyone that isn't delusional knows that, right? But the truth for the people who think it's flat is that it's flat. That's truth versus fact, okay, if I had to give a very general, bare-bones example of what I'm talking about. And so it's the same thing here. If it's the case, but the world refuses to accept it, it's a fact that it's true, or and this is where it gets blurry, right? True, what defines true, right? It is a fact, but is it true? No, because it doesn't apply, right? It's a fictional concept, right? It's like a little kid thinking they can fly. Okay, well, you know, theoretically you can do whatever you put your mind to, but not really, because it's not how it works, right? So, truthfully, you can do anything you put your mind to. Factually, you can't, right? And so that's what I mean. Let's see. The Israelis were beaten by Germans because of hate, and the Germans were beat by the Allies who hated the Germans, using hate itself as a weapon. No. Using hate as fuel for a cause, absolutely. You were correct. Violence breeds violence, but that's how humans operate. So, yeah. Let's see. Using hate as a general weapon, nobody is being beat using... Using it as a fuel to fire for a cause, absolutely hate will beat another hate by a long shot. Practically, and this is the case. Truthfully, you're wrong. Factually, you're correct. And that's where it comes into play. Now, I happen to agree more factually, because if it doesn't apply, then it's useless, right? But, let's see. What do you mean? It's completely flat? Oh, you're making a joke about the Earth. I was like, flat? We're off the To Love Ru discussion, but no, you were joking about the Earth, right? It's, yeah, totally WX, right? But anyways, the basis of this is prejudice, discrimination is discrimination. It is factually the case. There is no twisting it. There is no distraction from it. That's how it is. And so, anyways, part of the thing she was using was hate can't be hate. Yukari's right. It can be used as a fuel source for defeating hate, but it can't stop hate with just simple, hatred on hatred, right? Because hatred turns to violence, okay? It's how it works, right? I mean, look no further than most of the people arguing with this stuff, right? Anyways, we're going to continue on. But do you see, this is a 2-minute video in 36 seconds, and I just gave you a full, 10-minute breakdown.
I support that my father is transphobic at times. I don't support that. Period, the end. But I still love my...
Oh, we have another one here. I know. We just had 4 seconds, and I'm already breaking down another thing. Transphobia. I think it's still technically a prejudice by definition, but this goes into like what is generally acceptable, right? Because you can see that's a slippery slope to go down, because some people don't think it even counts as a prejudice, and it's more of just they're idiots kind of thing. And then other people would say it's a prejudice by definition, but they agree with the sentiment. I think I'm more along that line. By definition, it's a prejudice, but I don't really agree with the sentiment that it's even a concept that should exist, right? So, I mean, I already know Yukari's thoughts on that. I know WX's thoughts on that. Honestly, everybody in this chat probably agrees with that. But anyways, I just wanted to bring that up as a separate thing of what is being talked about here isn't even... It's not even race. It's not about race. It's not about... what else? Gender. It's about a freaking sexual... It's not even a sexuality. It's a gender identity, right? Which is a whole different layer of, I guess, niche. Let's see. Cut off or put on whatever you want onto your body, but don't expect me to play along and stay out of our bathrooms and sports. That's all I have to say about that. That's what Yukari said. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much expected that to be your sentiment for it. I won't... You know what? Nah, I don't really care. Yeah, I agree with you.
My dad, and I'll go to coffee with him tomorrow, but I don't support that.
She's getting canceled for being normal.
You can't fight hate with hate. It doesn't get you anywhere.
I did tell her. I was like,
this is the clip.
I do think your tone doesn't help because you inherently sound really angry.
Oh, by the way, can you guys hear this fine? Are you guys able to hear the video? I just want to make sure. Just tell me yes. You don't have to have like the audio's fine or anything. Just yes or no, and I can fix it. Oh yeah, and I'll read the comments while you guys answer that. So you can't fight hate with hate. Instantly canceled by people who only know how to hate. I mean, there's a reason this guy has 11,000 likes, right? Let's see. We can all hear it all clear. That's good. Okay, I think they're jealous QT has a dad. Okay, now this is a whole different discussion, and this gets into gender and gender theory, and I don't want to do an entire literary criticism of gender theory. However, all I'm going to say about this sentiment is that they're right. That's end of discussion. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that for this stream. Let's see, OMG. So this person's pointing out the double standard. OMG, you're acting so black is what they said, right? Now that's highly, of course, that's racist, right? However, it's being used in the context, it's the exact same context, except instead of black, they replaced it with white. What's the difference here? The answer, there is none. It's the same sentiment, except one sounds better and the other doesn't. And this goes into the whole concept of like white guilt and things like that. And somebody else says the exact same thing. Let me find it. Where is it? Well, I mean, this person says pretty much exactly, saying she's being so white as a derogatory term is such a wild and blatantly racist thing to say. I genuinely don't understand how they don't see it. I don't know how they don't see it. Well, okay, I do know how they don't see it. I'm trying to find the guy that says it, because I read these comments earlier. So I've seen this clip. I haven't seen this video I have here. Okay, I'm just going to say what it is. They call it white guilt. Okay, so it's the idea that in American culture, well, it's Western culture as a whole, but it's particularly the United States. They have this idea that essentially being a specific race, usually in the context of being white, is worse because you're somehow by major proxy, you are somehow related and at fault for slavery and racism, right? So like Jim Crow, things like that, you're somehow involved with it by it. It's an argument purely emotional, and it has basically no logical sense to it. It's just a thing that exists. I can't explain it. I haven't lived long enough to explain it or to even really witness it in real life, right? Beyond the fact that that's just kind of how it works. Now, I could go into more detail, but then I also have to remember that I'm on YouTube, right, guys? And so I can't say whatever it is I want. I say most of what I want, but some stuff you gotta watch what you say. Let's see. I'll say my heart rate is quite high because I love talking about this stuff. So when we get to a point where we start talking again, expect a good yap every time I can if I have knowledge on it. That's good, Yukari. Just know I'm always open to discussion. Sometimes I'll skip over whatever people say if we really got to get through stuff, if we're on a time crunch. But we still got time. We got like 29 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, I'm open to hear whatever you got to say. Right, because this is another thing. The wise man listens. The fool talks, okay? The wise man, he'll talk once he knows what he's talking about. The fool will talk and they'll just say stuff. And they'll slip up, okay? And I think that's a big difference. And I also want to compare this to Asmongold here, not to have like a major praise session with this. However, I think one of the things that makes him different from the general people that you would watch is that he's purely honest. He's blatantly honest. Whether people disagree with him or not, he's always honest and he always says whatever he's thinking, even if everyone disagrees with it or thinks he's crazy. And so I follow a similar concept, not based off of him, just I happen to have a similar personality trait in the sense that I say whatever it is I'd like to say when it comes to this space here, because if you make stuff up, if you put on a fake face, people are going to realize it. Okay, and another thing, you can't just come up with whatever it is, because lies always slip up. Deceptions, they fail. Okay, and so you'll always have a breaking moment. You don't have a breaking moment if you were always honest. And so for me, I always say whatever it is I'm thinking. And if I don't feel like telling you or think I can't tell you or something like that, I'll tell you guys I'm end of discussion, or I'm not going to finish, or no comment or something like that, right? So, with this, I like to say whatever it is I'm thinking. And, yeah, a lot of people are kind of scared to do that, so they beat around the bush. And I think another thing is when people beat around the bush, or when they're very meek about it, then they get more hate because they're not even confident in what they're saying. So they're easy prey, right? And that's why Ludwig is so easily criticized, is because he's so on defense about everything that he's ripped apart by everyone. Alright, anyways, we're going to watch this clip. Try to keep your blood pressure low. I promise you it's not as bad as it could be. It could be worse. We could be watching a clip of, terrorist propaganda or something. I don't know. That's not what this is. I'm not saying that's what this is. I'm just saying, it could be worse. Anyways, prepare Uranus. This is about to get bad.
I do think your tone doesn't help because you inherently sound really angry all the time. It just comes off poorly, especially, and I was like, you're also the whitest woman I know. You being so white.
Yep.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help. But I know her. I know her heart. She wants to help, but I feel like there's ways we can do it better.
The fact is that a lot of the people that are hating on Cutie do genuinely hate white people. Cutie Cinderella said she wouldn't drop a racist is the craziest, the most privileged shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, so what's the problem here, fellas? Let's see what Yukari's saying. And just using common knowledge, by the time everybody who's talking about reparations were born, the whole part about segregation was already over with and stopped. Pretty much. And, I mean, it's, a lot of the time, it's heavily, it's sort of a scapegoat for things, right? And now it's become more of a politician's tool, right? Think of it this way. Politicians have many tools. Tools evolve over time, right? Tools can be a tool of war. It can be blackmail. It can be crime, right? Crime might not always work the same way depending on the time period. And this is another politician's tool. And that tool is racism. And the fear of racism, okay? It's kind of, I brought this up with the Internet ID thing. It's kind of like the politician's tool of the fear of pedophilia, right? Where they essentially use it as an exploit to convince people to basically sign their life away to whatever they want. And so they're able to create any law or anything based around the idea that you're supposed to be afraid of something. And in this case, it's racism. So you're supposed to be afraid of saying something racist. And so it prevents you from arguing with anybody at the fear of being called racist, right? It's all about optics. And optics are all about appearance. Appearance only matters to those who care about their appearance, right? And so, except when it comes to entertainers and people on social media, half of it is appearance. So that's why they're afraid of it. Anyways, so once again, try to keep your heart rate lowered, okay? Take some ice, eat an ice cream. I did that earlier. Just relax, all right? Things are about to get really annoying.
People are furious at her about this. I hate when white people say the dumbest shit then try to act innocent.
I was uncomfortable, obviously, as you could see in the clips. You know who I am.
I don't
you know
need to say anything about
someone
this.
Who's been watching me,
Take a
then
look
you
at
already
who we're
fucking
looking
know.
at
If you're
here.
a first-time fucking chatter, and you're just joining off of clips that you've seen on TikTok, and you don't know shit about me or that you're going to make.
Roach
but
out.
people who know me and know my
They
character
roaching out.
and know what the fuck I stand for, know how I'm gonna go about this.
This is what happens. They will throw you under the bus in a second.
Calling us transphobes, racist, whatever it is. I
don't know who this guy in the top left is.
No.
But
I don't even know it.
I've seen a couple clips of him.
You're literally just
funny.
anything your community says. You
I
realize
don't know anything about
what?
him,
You have a
so-
filter.
Oh, bro. Oh,
Don't
my
write me down for
God.
that.
He's just saying it. Thank you, bro. Fucking thank you.
She literally was so nice to us. I'm so confused. And now she's agreeing with people and that she's uncomfortable with what Cutie's saying.
Yep,
What is...
Yeah, bro. She switched up on you real quick
Betray-
because she don't give a fuck about you.
Dude,
She only told Cutie part of the...
She betrayed that one girl she did the clip or the stream with, like, to Love Ruse ending betrayed me. I'm not getting over that, by the way, but it's just what a just this is another thing. Backstabbing. I will never understand people backstabbing other individuals online. Okay, it's like, dude, if you have friends or somebody you want to cooperate with, I mean, you've got to back them up, or you got to keep your mouth shut. Okay, for me personally, okay, I've said this before with you guys in stream, is like, I don't care what you guys do. If it's something majorly illegal or something hugely destructive, not that any of you guys do that, right? I mean, I know everybody that's in the stream right now, you know, we only have 6 people here. Well, technically 5, because one of them's me spectating over the chat, right? So I can reply to stuff. Anyways, I know everybody that's here currently. So with that in mind, if any of you had something outside of, you know, YouTube that's not being told to me, I don't care, right? As long as you don't bring the problem here. So with that in mind, that's the kind of like solid loyalty you should expect. These people, I mean, they'll stab you in the back in a second, which also goes back to what I said earlier, guys, about how you should expect everybody to stab you in the back at literally any given moment, and that everybody serves themselves. This supports that theory. Let's see, the funniest thing about... What is this? The funniest thing about the white hate issue is the fact that everyone who says white people need to pay reparations are always white. That's why they call it white guilt, Yukari, is because it's a sense of guilt that's engraved in your mind to where you should feel bad for being in a specific group, so you should do things in order to make up for it. That's why they call it guilt and not shaming.
He says you realize you're...
Because they're the ones doing the shaming.
Bro, oh my God. He's just saying it. Thank you, bro. Fucking thank you.
She literally was so nice to us. I'm so confused. And now she's agreeing with people and that she's uncomfortable with what Cutie's saying.
Yep,
What is...
bro. She switched up on you real quick because she don't give a fuck about you. She only went to your event, man, because you're popular. Let me tell y'all something. This is for anybody like Ray or Cutie Cinderella, any of these people. This audience of weird, mentally ill losers are not the only people on the internet. You might think that there's a lot of them because they're all liking each other's stuff and they're very coordinated, but there's actually a very small amount of them. You don't have to live in according to what the most uncharitable take is towards what you believe. Stop living in the shadow and stop being a slave to these freaks.
Alright, so that final message there, we're getting a little bit of wisdom from Asmongold himself. So basically, I want to make a comment about what he said at the end there. I agree with him that you should not let these kind of people control you. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to go into that, right? We all understand that. However, one thing I do want to say this isn't to criticize what he said so much as it is my own personal thoughts on it. I do think there are more of these people than a lot of people like to let on, okay? Because in real life, I see these people everywhere, all right? And I don't live in a city. I don't live in an area that's like hardcore, you know, like what you'd consider leftist or anything like that. They just happen to be everywhere. And I'd say the majority of people are pretty neutral to things, but it's just that there are more than you would expect, okay? And they are very loud. They are very loud online, especially. And I think it doesn't matter if there is a small number of them, because if they're all coordinated, then they're a hive mind. And a hive mind doesn't need 10,000 drones if they're all able to threaten you just with a few people, right? Think of it this way. If one person is crazy enough to go to your house and kill you, you don't need 7 guys. It's not an action movie. You need one guy who's insane enough to do something. And that's why movements like this are so dangerous. If you can even call it it's not really a movement so much as just people getting mad online. But when you get somebody who's cultivated in this, they become more and more extreme as they sit in this kind of community, right? They're stewing in their thoughts, and day after day they become more and more aggressive. And so as it goes on, you only need one person to snap, which is very easy because a lot of these people are, you know, they're already not the most stable on their own, right? We're not turning somebody like Anakin Skywalker from, you know, greatest hero in the galaxy to most evil man in the galaxy next to Palpatine, right? These are people who are already the lowest of the low, and they only can get lower. And so when you're looking at that, it only takes one of these people to do something insane. And so when you have thousands of them, now there's an issue. And that's why I think it's a much bigger threat than people like to advertise, is that, yeah, maybe they're a loud minority, but the minority is still violent. It doesn't matter if there's a small number of them, right? It's kind of like, it's like how the Spartans, you know, in Sparta, they were always afraid of the Helots overthrowing them, okay? Well, the Helots are massively outmanned by the Spartans, which pretty much dedicate their entire lives to combat. But, you know what you don't want to have happen? All of the people that you own to magically pop up when you're off at war, or all the men are off at war, kill all your women, and then take all your land, right? And so they're constantly afraid of that happening, so then they train the women up, they keep constant tabs on them, things like that. And then there's a lot of details that are unknown about ancient Greece, etc., right? But you get the comparison I'm making here, is it doesn't matter if they're, which, by the way, I think the Helots did outnumber the Spartans, but I'm talking, in that case, that's more of manpower, right? So, like, obviously Sparta has more manpower than the people that they're having enslaved, and therefore, that's my comparison. So, in our case, we have more manpower than the loud minority, but it doesn't matter because the loud minority can still be violent. Here, let's see, Nebraska is a red state entirely until you look at Douglas County, my area, which is always blue. I deal with people every day who have told me they believe Gavin Newsom is the greatest governor. Yeah, I kind of have do I have a similar thing? Okay, in the region by which I live, it is generally Democrat, but the area that I am in is generally Republican. I mean, I've said I'm pretty isolated in terms of area, right? However, you still see a lot of people who are very, you know, what we're describing here. Anyways, we're going to watch a little bit of this, and then we're going to wrap up the stream, right? So we got like 15 minutes, so let's make it count. So this is more of the context. We just watched a clip from this, so there's a lot of stuff to get through. So we're going to watch some stuff, and then we're going to give our thoughts. We might skip ahead, go back, pause things. That's okay. All right, let's keep going.
Okay, we're not going to watch the whole thing, obviously, because it's really kind of long. But this is basically where people have been losing their minds. People have been out of their fucking mind about this, furious at this, like, so mad.
We played a little while ago. God, people are friggin' being annoying in my chat right now.
Why?
They were being so annoying in mine earlier, too. They just, like, be going on tangents.
What are they saying, Vanilla?
That about the homophobic jokes. They're like, but then you just
Alright, so I know we haven't even really gotten started here yet, but I want you guys to take a look at something. You know what, I don't want to zoom in. I don't want to have to zoom back out. Do you see, this is the person of interest in the top left here, okay? On the far left. Get it? Because they're far left, right? Anyways, this is the person of interest. Do you notice something? What are the red flags here? I want you guys to tell me what the red flags are. Because you can spot from a mile. I've said this multiple times. You can spot people that will cause you problems from a mile away. That's why the everyman over here is a recluse. Is because I stay away from people because I can tell who's weird and who isn't. Okay? Take a look. WX, Pedro, Dodge, Yukari. What's the problem here that you see right off the bat? I'm not talking about QT here. She's on the right. I'm talking about on the left here. By the way, I don't know who this guy is. He's just here. Looks like a cool guy. Never seen him before though. What was it? The short hair, the tattoos, the tank top, the overall body stance. Yep, Yukari, bingo. I would say yep, like it's, you know. What game show is that on? I don't know. I'm thinking of Family Feud, but that obviously yep isn't on Family Feud. Maybe I'm thinking of something separate. Anyways, yes, to all of those. All right, you can spot it from a mile away. It's the tattoos. And they also have this thing, I think it's called piercing theory, where it's like if you see a woman that has a bunch of piercings, there's probably a problem with them mentally, which I think is pretty funny because it kind of adds up about 100% of the time. Let's see what else. Looks like a dude from far away because I'm zoomed out for easy chat. He does kind of look like he's far away even for me though. Anyways, that's it. The short hair, not so much. Like, yeah, I mean they can have short hair, but it's the combinations all together, right? It's especially the tattoos, right? The tattoos are a dead giveaway. Hang on, is somebody saying this? Okay, sorry. I looked in the chat in the top right and saw something weird, and yeah, that was weird. Okay, anyways, yeah. What else is there? The body stance. Yukari brings up a great point. You can tell how people behave based on body language. Everyone knows this, right? And the body language here, I don't need to describe it to you. Take a look. It speaks for itself.
If you still hang out with someone like that, then you just
want to know why? Because
it's
common sense.
So basically, what happened is that Cinderella said that she would hang out with people that were in phase because the people that are in phase are, you know, like they said, yeah, they make homophobic jokes, but they don't do that around me. And also, like, you know, how can you change somebody and make somebody see your point of view if you just always demonize them and hate them, right?
Dodge said he
so that's basically what she was saying.
Sorry, I didn't read your comment.
And like that, and this is, by the way, this is the normal opinion. That's what normal people think, right? But obviously, here's the problem: is we on the internet, bitch. So people are mad as fuck about this. And also another reason, by the way, why Cutie is hanging out with the phase people, and I like Cutie, but let's be honest, the reason why you're hanging out with them is because they got a lot of viewers. Right? You're friends with them because they're really popular. If they were getting like 1 or 2K viewers, you'd be talking about how bad they are. That's what I think.
Yeah.
No, I don't know that. I don't know that.
By the way, I want to make another comment. This isn't in regards to the drama so much as it is in regards to a lot of things. What is it with this stupid... Dude, I keep seeing... Report ad. Get this off my screen. I've had that thing for 3 days. It's bothering me. Anyways, Ukraine issues Russia new long-range strike warning. And what else is new? Anyways, let's see. I'm always right about these people is what Yukari said. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen you be wrong once, so I can't really refute that. Anyways, one thing I do notice is that YouTube is a lot less hateful when it comes to creators, while Twitch is very nasty. Okay, I mean, these people are constantly intertwining themselves with each other just so they can, you know, get ahead of whoever it is that they're interacting with, right? Compare that to YouTube. YouTube collaborations, they're just that. They're collaborations, right? So people work with other people. you have viewers go from one channel to another. You have interactions. Most YouTubers praise each other, or they don't talk about each other at all. Okay, but Twitch, dude, they can't stop with the drama. Okay, think of it this way. YouTube is that table of, like, weird kids, and there's a ton of them, alright? So, like, by definition, they're popular, but they're popular amongst each other, and they kind of keep to themselves. Then Twitch is that table of, like, the people, right? The jocks, the bully kind of, really both sides of things. That's what Twitch is. And so you want to stay away from that table. YouTube is generally the better place to go if you want to avoid crap.
I think that once a person, because people would levy the same criticism at people like Kai or like fucking XQC, but a lot of these people will put that aside. In my opinion, like, this is what people need to understand with, like, any sort of virtue signaling. This is my favorite part about it, is that it puts somebody in between the position of virtue signaling and clout. And what it reveals is that the virtue signaling only existed in service of gaining clout.
He is correct. Obviously. I mean... you have to think about what he's talking about, right? So the term virtue signaling, if you don't know, basically means that somebody is saying something that they perceive as morally just, and they're saying it so that they can be perceived as morally just, right? They can be perceived as a good person because they believe in a good cause. Notably, the people you will meet on a daily basis exercise at least a small degree of this, right? So, like, let me make a good example. If somebody mentioned rape in another country, everybody would immediately react with repulse and repugnance toward it. Do they actually care? No, of course not. Why? It happened in another country, they didn't know them, and it doesn't apply to them, and they'll forget about it in 5 minutes. So that's a very minor show of what he's talking about, virtue signaling. It's in everyday life. It's everywhere, okay? In only a select few people, you won't find it in, right? So, like, me, for example, I'm never going to react to something as like, oh my god, that was okay, it has to be really, really bad for me to react to something like that. Matter of fact, I can't even really think of anything that would make me react like that. Actually, okay, I can think of one thing. That would be, like, for example, this isn't him well, okay, I guess it includes him specifically, but something similar to, like, what happened to Charlie Kirk, I would react negatively to that because, he got killed in front of his, kids and his wife and everything, and I think that's, right, like, that kind of thing, that bothers me, just because, not just because the kids don't have to grow up without a father, but also just because they saw it, and that's a lot, right? But that's pretty much the only thing where you're gonna have that sort of reaction out of me. Other things, I'm pretty much indifferent to it, or I make jokes about it. So, yeah. In this regard, these are the kind of people where they have to do this with everything. They have to make a huge deal out of it so everybody knows what a good person they are. Which, ironically, they're the worst kind of people, right? Because evil is caused by those who think they're just, right? Evil is the people... Evil is? Sorry, that was grammatically incorrect. Evil is rooted in the people who think that they're always morally just, right? That's how you get religious wars. That's how you get... that's really how you get most wars in general, besides most... Actually, I'm not even going to say that. I was going to say besides most American wars, but most American wars are also caused by self-righteousness, right? The whole capitalism versus communism, the whole, the entirety of the follow-up after 9/11, right? The whole thing was spearheaded by essentially a self-righteous, we're going to go defeat them in retribution, right? So everyone does it. It's a big problem, but the difference is governments use it as an exploit because they know how to control people, while individuals like this do it because they're idiots. That's the difference. Let's see. The Charlie issue for me made me angry because the reason of why he was killed more than the people he was shot in front of, and he had a family. I mean, I don't like, I acknowledge that violence is everywhere, so the why he was killed, I got it. You know, somebody absolutely out of their mind killed him. That's pretty easy to understand. It was the family part that kind of got to me, right? And it's not even just it's not the family thing itself so much as that they were there watching when it happened, right? Like, if he got killed in his sleep or something by a freaking assassin, okay, and they, you know, somebody found him later, then I wouldn't be as bothered by it, just because I'd be like, oh, well, you know, that sucks, but, you know, there's nothing really to think about with it. But because of the nature in which it happened, and then the people celebrating after the fact, that's what bothered me.
And I think a lot of these viewers are starting to realize that. That's the truth. Again, maybe it's a mean thing to say. Maybe people might not want to hear that. That's a fact. That's a fact. I've seen it. I've seen it. And I am at a position now where I just don't give a fuck. I just do not give a fuck. I will just come out and say this stuff because I think somebody needs to. Because we live in such an era of inauthenticity that somebody needs to come out and say that it's real.
Very few people give me the idea.
And by the way, I totally support Cutie. I think she's totally right about this. But I also think that she's cultivated an audience over the years, and she's basically created. She's created this type of an audience. She has.
She's created the demons that are attacking her.
I like her as a person. I've spoken to her multiple times. I think she's a very, very nice girl.
I can't speak to this because I don't know anything about her.
And you guys can believe what you can believe.
I know, like, I want, like, explain it. I want you to, like, explain it better.
This shit, by the way, has, like, tens of millions of views on TikTok. Like, people are losing their fucking mind on this.
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of forgot TikTok existed. I don't have it. I'd prefer to acknowledge, or not acknowledge, I'd prefer to ignore it and not acknowledge it. So... There's that. Hang on, what's Yukari saying? I look further into it as someone who was shot, who ran for no office, and held no power besides TPUSA, while using their constitutional right to spew whatever you want to and give fair arguments. Yeah, I mean, I understand that he was killed unjustly. It just, it doesn't hit me on a personal level. Do you understand what I mean? Because I'm talking about having an emotional reaction to it. Right, so the emotional reaction for me comes with the family part of it. Well, the political side of it, it sucks, but I understand there's political violence all the time, right? I mean, look at every other country in the world. People are getting heads chopped off left and right?
I'm going to explain it.
Twice
you guys can believe what you want to believe, I understand, but you're not allowed to coach me and say, like, that's not right, that's not what you, like, just because I don't act the same way you act, you're not allowed to, like, coach me through that, because at the end of the day, I am somebody that's like...
Yeah, you don't get to tell me what to do. And this is the reason, that's the whole problem with this whole community, right, that they build, is that the community that they build is fundamentally a bunch of people that want to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Hyper-controlling, very invasive, obnoxious...
By the way, I want to make a little comment in relation to the small, very small audience that I have. One thing you guys will notice is that I entertain your thoughts a lot. I let you say whatever you want to say. I provide my opinion. I let you provide your opinion. I take your recommendations. I do things you guys ask. But I have boundaries. Boundaries such as, for example, extremely personal questions, I just don't answer for obvious reasons. Which, not that you guys ask those a lot, but, you know, like, for example, Pedro saying, oh, by the way, where's your weaponry in your room? I'm like, I answer that? And then, you know, for example, like, where I live, you know, things like that. Not that anybody's exactly asked that, but that sort of thing. I don't say that. And essentially what I'm saying here is that I actively work to create an audience that looks up to what I do. I can inspire people, you know, I can entertain them, keep them happy, give them something to look forward to. But I also don't want to create an audience that becomes complacent, because they become complacent, then everybody wants to control whatever you're doing, wants to tell you, hey, you need to do this, things like that. The bottom line here is, you can do whatever you want. So will I. And because I'm running the channel, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, you know? Which I try to keep things, you know, pretty fair and balanced. That's why I create polls for things. However, the polls, you know, I have my own thoughts on what I think for each poll, and if the poll goes against what I think, that's fine, right? That's why I create them in the first place. However, sometimes I just don't create a poll, and I do what I want to do. That's kind of what I'm saying here. Anyways, what's Yukari saying? Yeah, I get it. I didn't feel sad besides for his family. I'm simply angry, even today, at the fact that people who spew fascist killed a man who censored his speech. Yeah, I mean, I think, wasn't it Einstein that said, what was it? The fascists of the future will call themselves anti-fascists. Was that Einstein, or was that, no, it's Churchill. It's Churchill. I don't know. I said Einstein last time, too. It's Churchill. Einstein had nothing to do with World War... well, he did, in terms of his importance, but not directly, right? It was Churchill. I remember it. Don't kill me.
Aggressive people that want to tell you what to do.
Bitch, I'm an ally. Like,
And I know where I'm at.
Homophobic.
That's
Everybody knows
I know where I'm
homophobic.
at.
It doesn't matter who I talk to. Like, the thing is like,
this reminds me of another thing. Okay, don't worry. We're gonna pause like every few seconds. This is just so you guys know. This is what fair use looks like. When YouTube says "quote unquote" fair use, where you can watch another person's video on your own YouTube video and then give comments about it, this is what they entail. Is that I am literally stopping the video every few seconds to give my thoughts on it. That's what free use is. It's not me sitting here and watching it in front of you just to farm people, okay? And so this, anyways, my point being, with this, one thing I wanted to notice here, wanted everyone else to notice that I wanted to detail, was that she mentioned, I quote, "I'm an ally." Now, here's the problem. She is attempting to essentially stay on the positive and good graces of a bunch of maniacs. That's her issue. That's the issue that she's created here. She is saying something that they don't like, but she is still attempting to side with them. These people have a "you're either with us or against us" mentality. You have to play into the mentality. So you're either with them or you're against them. You have to know that's how they think. So then you have to do things according to how they think. It's how it works. And so anyway, she's still on defense about it, in the sense that which she isn't even necessarily on defense, because she's saying that somebody related to her has some sort of opinion and she doesn't agree with it. But these people think in terms of proxy. And so if you're, for example, if you had a great grandfather that had a slave that they know about, they're going to bring it up. Now, how does that relate to you? Well, it doesn't, but they're going to bring it up anyways. And it's the exact same thing, especially if that person's effectively just your father, right? Not that that's the specific role, right? Or your grandmother, or your sister, or your brother, whoever it is, right? They're going to bring it up anyways. And so that's her mistake here, is that she's still trying to play the role of a quote-unquote ally. They don't see allies. They see it's you're either with us or against us. And they turn on each other just as fast as they will anyone else, right? They're cannibals, and they will cannibalize each other.
I was raised in a very religious family. Unfortunately,
no, she's downplaying it. She raised as a Mormon.
Oh,
yeah. People in my family that are racist. There are people in my family that are bigoted. There are people in my family that are
really
homophobic.
religious.
Also, he pointed out
that are transphobic.
By the way, W Mormons. Like I was not familiar with their game until they said that they were saying prayers of the family that shot up the Mormon school. I have never met a Mormon that was not an incredibly lawful good person.
I'm not gonna give my thoughts on this because okay. We don't have enough time to get into another rant or another long rant, so I'm not gonna give my thoughts on this. I'll just leave them. You can just have your own opinion on that. I'm not gonna make a comment about it. I mean, you can probably tell I don't completely agree with it. Otherwise, I would just say, yeah, he's right. But I don't know. I think we're generalizing a bit too much. We'll just say that. All right, we'll skip ahead a little bit. We're gonna watch a little bit more, and then we're gonna wrap this up in about 5 minutes. So, sorry, I can continue this another time, just so you know.
And my dad refuses to use the correct pronouns.
And does right.
I skipped to one of the dumbest parts,
okay,
and
sure.
now you get why we're making fun.
He doesn't understand that
a party built on top of instability is not fit to run the greatest.
He doesn't
country on the
understand
planet.
why it's so important, right? And it drives me crazy.
I think
and it drives my
you're locked in too
crazy,
much on the
of
Charlie
course.
thing.
But I've
we're
had to say
getting
to
a
my
little
dad,
sidetracked with the general.
No, everybody's based dad. I disagree. If I had a kid that was trans, I would want to, you know, ideally, being trans and going through transition surgery would be the last line of action, right? But this is an adult brother. This is an adult. As a parent,
once again, everybody in chat's pretty much saying
you shouldn't be trying to control your adult child's life.
I agree with them.
You should respect what they want to do.
I mean, if they're an adult, respect what they want to do.
That's
but also,
it. Yeah, I would respect what my kids
I
wouldn't
wouldn't encourage it.
Because, and the reason why is because I know people might not agree with that are in my community, but I would do it because that's what my parents did for me. Like they said you can do anything that you want. You can be anything that you want.
So if you want to go out, you watch the video if you want. I'd encourage that you watch the video because he has some good stuff he talks about. But obviously this isn't why we're watching the videos, so we're gonna skip past this stuff.
Conversation with my dad because I'm open-minded and we love each other.
Here we go.
My stepbrother just says "fuck off."
No, I'm talking
and
about
won't talk to my dad. So there's no progress
that
being
most
made.
liberals will turn on each other as fast as they would anybody
and so
else.
You can believe what you want. You guys can be. You can say that. You can say to me.
I think by the way,
you're right.
If anybody thinks that this mindset is
there's
wrong,
Democrat and there's
if
Republican,
anybody thinks this mindset is wrong,
third party. They're not a party.
Go watch this.
They're a movement. And movements
go watch
Daryl
Daryl Davis talk about
quickly.
it. That's a person that made a difference. That's a person that made a change.
But I don't support that.
She's getting canceled for being normal.
The world is not as black as white as everyone thinks.
Exactly.
Like you guys, you can't fight hate with hate. It doesn't get you anywhere. It
this is
literally
where
does not
the
get you
clip
anywhere.
started that we watched earlier.
Like it's so important, but.
Right.
By the way, you know that this lady here, she's been silent this whole time because she disagrees and she doesn't want to argue with, one of these people and then have a big, which I think, what I think is kind of funny, guys, the fact that they don't argue directly with people on stream, but they'll go on their own stream and then talk smack, like as if it's not online and you can't find it elsewhere. I guess. That's the mentality behind it. It's like if one of these people showed up here, I would be arguing with them just like I would here, Well, I'm not even necessarily arguing so much as just giving my thoughts on what I think, right? And what I think happens to be pretty similar to what's being said here, right? I mean, it's common sense. And so it's the exact same idea. But if one of these people showed up, unless they, showed up with like 10,000 angry fans with, rifles all ready to go, then I might back off a little bit, just, because I don't want to die. But, if this is a one-on-one kind of thing, yeah, I'd say the exact same thing. Because they're not king of the world, right? Now, if it was the president, then I'd want to compromise a little bit more, right? Or if it was a king, or if it was... a prime minister, I almost said prime dictator. If it was a dictator, that's another thing, right? Then I'd be a little bit more reasonable, okay? But if it's a streamer, you're just a freaking person. And most of the time, you're saying stupid stuff. So, yeah, it's the same exact thing. I'm going to say the same thing I would anywhere else.
I'm a racist person. I'm just not racist. I'm not. Me?
Also, she's another thing. She's cornering herself.
But how
much? Was Valkyrie racist towards QT? Was Valkyrie racist?
Oh, hang on,
no, she told the truth, and the truth was racist. Ray was not racist. She told the truth. No, for real, she did. And the truth is racist. What? Explain. Sure.
All right, we're gonna listen to this explanation.
I think that a lot of people on these communities do hate white people. Straight up, they have resentment towards white people. They don't like them. And I think the fact that Cutie said that whenever she is a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl, I think that did rub them the wrong way. And I think that Ray realizing that is true. I think it's the same reason why whenever Vivek Ramaswamy went out and said that we live in a culture that glamorizes football heroes or football captains rather than math champions, and that's not good for the national culture long term, I think that the main reason why people are mad at him saying that is because he's a fucking Indian. That's the reason why.
That makes sense. So, this might be hard to understand what he means. This is going to be our final point. I'm sorry, we're out of time. But, so the final point of what he means, essentially, is that, so, based on just taking the clip out of context, it looks like Valkyrie is essentially insulting QT for being too white, and saying something that basically it's like the assumption of, oh, you're white, so you can't say stuff like that, right? That's the assumption of what she's saying. However, what she means is that because QT is, you know, like the typical blonde hair, blue eye kind of white woman, then it's taken the wrong way, and everybody is going to be insulted by it because of that. Now, this goes back to that thing I said earlier. The thing I said earlier, if you guys remember, was that confidence and how you deliver a message impacts it. And so because Valkyrie is very, you know, she speaks very sweetly and quietly, then people are easily able to be domineering to somebody like that. Now compare it to somebody who's an a-hole like me, and you're not going to get the exact same reply out of me, right? Because if you argue with her, you're going to get sort of a quiet, calm sort of response, which is good for a community like that. And if you argue with me, you're probably going to get a kiss my rear and a middle finger, okay? Because that's my personality. And so it's the exact thing that I'm talking about. Her delivery of it makes it sound like she's using a backhanded insult or a backhanded comment and disguising it as this sort of like meek language. However, what she means, if she said it more confidently, she could get her point across if she just explained it better. But because she said it so quietly and, you know, sort of half-heartedly, then it didn't get across the way she meant, and now she's getting flack for it. Does that make sense? Let's see, gotta love the fart zone sign on the wall. I didn't see that, I'm not paying attention to the background. Let's see. What is it? You gotta love it, this was Dodge said. Alright, so anyways, you guys give me your lasting thoughts. What do you think about all this going on? Because, I mean, we basically covered the gist of what it is. Sorry, I had my thumbnail up there. I had Canva opened. Anyways, we're going to wrap this up, fellas, because we're out of time. Any lasting thoughts? Pedro, Yukari, Dodge? WX is definitely asleep. There's no chance he isn't, or he's just not here. Lasting thoughts, boys? I would say or girls, but at this point, it's only you guys here, so, and, you know, you're all male, so I know that. Well, I guess there are the people who could still be here in video form, but I'm talking to chat, and everybody in chat's male, therefore I'm going to say boys. It's whatever, right? Going once, going twice. I'll give you guys another, like, 10 seconds, because I gotta wrap this up. I gotta wake up early tomorrow. Like 5 a.m. early. In other words, I'm guaranteed to, at most, get 5 hours of sleep. Last night I got 3 hours. So, you know. Also, by the way, tomorrow I have a whole entire, like, 40-minute long rant video to make, so there's that. I also have to continue working on that project thing that I told you guys about last time. Let's see, I personally have no thoughts on this, but I hope you have a good rest of your night. Thanks, Dodge. I appreciate that. Yukari, anything else? Pedro's pretty quiet. WX is definitely asleep. Alright. Well, 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Maybe I should be counting in Mississippi, but me talking just now disrupted it, so it's fine. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.5. Alright, no lasting thoughts. Alright, fellas, that's going to be all for this time. If you guys enjoyed, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Oh, hang on, we got... my message didn't send, but summarize. I just said this is for normal. This is normal for both platforms. It is normal for both platforms, but I do think it's worse on Twitch. It's a million times worse on Twitch. On Twitch, they eat each other alive. On YouTube, it's like backhanded drama. It's like, oh, I'm gonna make a video about Mr. Beast and he's gonna launch something back at me. And a lot of the time, YouTube has proxy wars. Think of YouTube as like the United States and the Soviet Union. Most of the fights happen on Twitter, and YouTube's just the staging ground by which it starts. Let's see. Twitch being soy boy racist and YouTube being Chads. Did you say every mommy again? We're not playing that. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed, I had a great time with this stream. This stream was also much longer than I expected. 2 hours and 10 minutes. Well done, fellas. That's going to be a little longer than that, but that's okay. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, a comment, and I will see you all in the next video. Let's see. Well, that's what I mean by both platforms. YouTube's chill and Twitch is just Twitch. Oh, well, you know how it is. Have a fantastic day and a fantastic life, everybody. Next thing's going to be that Televeru rant, followed by something around Halloween time. Not sure when. Have a fantastic day and a fantastic life. Goodbye, everyone.